Jog Fuel, team up, partnering, collaborating with many different groups, religious groups, political groups, social groups, NGOs, to ensure that we give them the knowledge, we give them the booklets, we give them the opportunity to have information and to give back to the community. I believe social organization, not only me as a professional or a diplomat, need to get involved, but many people, whoever it may be, you must team up with Jog Fuel. Jog Fuel, we are in more than 120 and up countries. Our booklets are translated in more than 25 to 26 languages. Who has, what other organization does that? None. That's why I can say that Jog Fuel is #1, because whoever or whatever organization that's saving life, you are the best, because there is nothing better than life. And what we do, beside God, we protect life, we give life, because once you're doing drugs, you're dead. So by educating, by preventing people, young people or old people, whoever it may be, not doing drugs, we give life back to the world. So this is basically what I do beside being give food, give clothes, helping build medical centers, clinics, schools, or advising politicians, diplomats. I am spending times with Jog Fuel, because Jog Fuel is doing the best job, is saving humanity.
Well, you know what, I want to tell you, from our group, we appreciate so much what you've been doing and the effect you've been having since we met a few years ago. And I wanted to ask you a question, because I know you've been a lot in the United Nations. So from your viewpoint, as someone who's traveled the world, this program, Drug-Free World, how do you think it would help with the UN Sustainable Goals, and how could it be integrated by the UN to really be the drug education program that actually stabilizes the world and achieves the title, which is a beautiful thing, but it really achieves Drug-Free World? How do you think that would integrate? What do you feel about this?
I know at the UN, they have what we call 17 goals. So they're working towards 2030, and they believe that by 2030, the whole world, all countries in the world must be sustained, must have sustainable development. So that's why they're having hundreds of conferences at the UN and to discuss about many different issues. So I believe that not having Jog Fuel or drug education involved in that goals by being sustain the world by 2030, we will not have a world of peace. We will not have sustainable development by not educating people about drugs, by not preventing people of doing drugs. It is very hard, because most of these big organizations, they profit from drugs. They're making billions of dollars, trillions of dollars by selling drugs, and money govern the whole world. So that's why even though they try to bring many different subjects, but they try to not go in deeper into the drugs problems. That's why I'm urging the General Secretary and the President at the UN, at the United Nations, and many diplomats, many ambassadors at United Nations, to not leave the drugs education behind with the 17 goals that we have for 2030, because drugs education will help the world sustain. You may have food, you may have a big building, you may have jobs around the world, but if the people that have the big housing, the jobs, or the nice car they're doing, if they're doing drugs, you're gonna end up having accident. You're gonna end up have a family that being destroyed because the husband doing drugs and he's mad at what he's doing and he's killing his wife and his children. You're gonna have jobs and people come to work, and then they're doing suicide. So even though you try to help the world, sustain the world, you cannot do it by leaving the drugs behind. So Jog Fuel is the only organizations that doing it to the highest. We have many different local groups or state that having jobs program, school that having jobs program. But Job Fuel, this is us. This is what we do. We invest money, we invest our times, we invest our knowledge, educating school, teacher, elected official, law enforcement, so they know about job fuel, about jobs, and they give back to the community. So Job Fuel must be involved at the UN, must be involved in the whole world, because we will never have a sustainable development without Job Fuel.
Very well said. You know, with your energy, I want to ask you one last thing for the viewers who are watching you right now. What would you like to get across to them as to what you feel is important in today's world?
What I feel is important in today's world is to have a world of peace, is to have a unified world. We are divided. There's hatred, there's war, you know, there's sickness everywhere in the world. So we cannot get along. There's about 4,200 religions in the world. Whether you are Muslim, you are Scientologist, you are Christian, if you say that you believe in something and then you don't care about the people around you, so it doesn't matter. So that's why we must leave religion behind, aside, and start loving each other. We must leave political situation aside and think about that we are human beings. You know, we here in this world to love, to work together so we can save ourselves and save the world. So my priority is to preach love, is to preach reconciliation, whether you're Muslim, Scientologist, Christian, Buddhist, whoever you call, whoever you believe in. I believe that person believes in unity. So we need to unite, and the best way we can unite is to destroy everything that's bad, all those bad things. Killing, you know, suicide, hatred, and for you to have ability to do that is to stay out of jobs, and Job Fuel is doing it. So let's team up with Job Fuel so we can be able to take well and take the right decision for the world.
Absolutely. I am very happy to have you on our side.
Yes.
Thank you, Ambassador Sanon.
I'm honored to work for Job Fuel, and thank you for the opportunity that Job Fuel gives me.